made that video right after I found out that my immediate family was going to be getting the house. So basically the lawyers in these situations understood that that will that they had made to give themselves the house was not valid. So they pretty much went by this will that had been worked on for a long time by Susan and her husband. And then they also went to mediation to figure out some of the details. So that took a long time. And during that time, Crystal was still living at the house and paying absolutely nothing. And we pretty much couldn't get her out of it because there were other family members who wanted her to be there, only because if she was kicked out of Susan's house, she was gonna have to go live with them. And Crystal's kids are so messy. They're all messy, including Crystal. It's honestly really gross and not a great environment. So I am sure that these other family members just did not want to welcome Crystal into their house. So she lived there and trashed this place. She ended up flooding it. So there are a lot of floorboards that were taken up and it was just a complete mess. But she did end up moving out maybe 4 or 5 months, I might be mistaken, something like that, before it became official that the house was going to stay in our family, because she ended up getting a settlement from her divorce and then she went and bought her own house. So when we walked into the house, there were about 7 or 8 bags of trash just everywhere throughout the house, and it was really disgusting. We ended up finding dead mice and then ended up having to spend a lot of money to get the rest of the mice out of this house. And they had left a bunch of food out, so when they moved out, they ended up just leaving food. So here is just some food that they left on the stove, a moldy pot of coffee, and her kids would draw on the walls. And what you guys need to realize is that my family member's house was so pristine always. I mean, they had paid people to come and clean their house daily. When I used to work for them, they had me change out every single trash can every day, even if there was one candy bar wrapper in it. That is the amount of like clean freaks that they were. So walking into the house and seeing it look like this was very devastating. There's also holes in the wall. A lot of the door handles were missing. The door on my family member's room was completely, like, it fell off or was torn off. I have no idea. So it was just laying in their bedroom. Oh, and the most disgusting thing is that every single toilet in the house was full of something and not flushed. This is what the kitchen looked like, and there was, like I said, just food sitting out. And then this is the floorboards. I don't really know how it flooded. I think it might have been from the washer, so I don't really know. But basically this entire thing was flooded and they were supposed to get it repaired and they just never did. So yeah, we still have to figure out this. Her kids are also homeschooled, so there was just a bunch of sand on the floor. So you have to imagine it was just trash everywhere all throughout. So whenever they moved out to go move into their new house, they did not bother to clean up after themselves. They left all of their old broken furniture and it was just a complete mess. And honestly, it still is a complete mess. It's going to take a lot of work to get this house back to the condition that it was in before. I wish you guys could have seen it in its prime. I mean, it was so beautiful. Me and my husband did get married there because it was just the place where everybody wanted to be, and that's exactly what Susan wanted. When they had built this house, it was so that everybody could come and enjoy it for holidays. And to see it in this condition has been really discouraging. So hopefully we are going to be able to fix it up. It's just going to take a lot of time and money to restore it. So that is pretty much where things are today, which I know is a unsatisfying ending. I am very frustrated that more has not been done in regards to bringing justice. This last year has been really, really hard, just because despite the fact that I know that I made the right decision to cut these people off, because someone made a comment and I really agree with them that this family really does act like a cult, like a mini cult in and of themselves, like this protection, and it feels like there's so much brainwashing going on. And if you know me and my story, you know I joined a religious cult when I was 17 years old, and that's mostly what I share about on TikTok. So I feel like looking at it through that lens and realizing how unhealthy that was, I knew I had to walk away. But also, of course, I still miss these people at times. I feel sick to my stomach at the thought that I'm not going to like grow old being friends with Andy, like despite the fact how horrible his letter was and the lack of morals and accountability and anything like that. It's really hard. So there are times where I miss him and I'm like, is this really it? Are we really not going to talk again? But then I remember everything, and there's just nothing that can be done in a healthy way. So yeah, it has been a hard year. Thank you guys so much for coming along on this journey. I am going to make one more video where I talk about, somebody had made the comment of like, why do crazy things keep happening to you? And then somebody else had made a comment about how it makes sense that my first marriage happened given how I was groomed by Crystal. And I think that that is so true. So I'm going to talk about how I think that those things are very related in the next video.